just want to welcome you all to one of our Polk County Fair pre-fair meetings. So thank you for joining us. We are recording this session and we'll post it on our YouTube channel so that we are able to get the message out there for those who haven't been able to join us at one of these sessions. So we'll go ahead and get started. First off with introductions, tonight with me here, we have Virginia Atwell, who is our 4-H and family life educator for Polk County Extension. Megan Friel, one of the county youth coordinators, and myself, Marcy Van Sam, the other county youth coordinator. Joining us this summer, we have Beyonce Gonzalez, who is one of our interns. Beyonce is actually a returner from last summer. And then we have Mattia Wilson, who is our other summer intern. As for our state staff serving Polk County, we have Paul Gibbons as our regional director and our youth program specialists, Lisa Green and Ken Keister.
We do want to extend a bit of congratulations to some of our Polk County 4-Hers. So we have 3 Polk County 4-Hers who will be serving on the state 4-H council this year. And they will be Colin Giles from Urbandale 4-H, Emma Liss of the Beaver Hustlers, and Casey Van Lanningham from We Excel. We also have a few youth who are going on some of the award trips. So for National 4-H Congress, we have Colin from Urbandale 4-H. And then for National 4-H Conference, we have Casey Van Lanningham from We Excel. And we also have one youth who will be serving as an Iowa 4-H reporter this year, and that is Garrett Vonstein from the Beaver Hustlers. So if you see these youth, give them a congratulations because it's a big honor for them. And then quickly approaching in just a few short days is the May 15th deadline. So by May 15th, all 4-Hers must be enrolled and active in order to exhibit at the county and state fair. And all animals, with the exception of rabbits and poultry, need to be ID'd in 4-H online. May 15th is 2 Mondays from now, so not a lot of time left. And then for your club enrollment, so in our in-person meetings, we had a list printed out for leaders. We can get you those lists if you're curious, but those lists have our active, inactive, pending, and incomplete enrollments, as well as leaders who are inactive, incomplete, and pending. So if you need that list, if you'd like to see that, if you want to help us get our enrollment cleaned up, that would be great. And leaders, we need to make sure that you are enrolled as well. And that does include watching that civil rights training video at the end of your enrollment. If you have not done that yet, you are not an active leader.
I have to remember to unmute myself. You two have to help me because I can't see the list of when I'm supposed to talk. So if I don't start talking, let me know. So next up is 4-Hers for 4-H. This is an annual campaign conducted by the State 4-H Council in conjunction with the Iowa 4-H Foundation. And so essentially what they're doing is asking 4-H clubs to donate $4 per member or whatever the club can afford. And those contributions help support State 4-H conference, as well as financial aid for programs, 4-H program fees and event registrations. So the 4-H Foundation gives all that money back to the youth. So if your club is able to donate to that cause, you should have received an email from me. I don't even remember when it went out yet at this point, but it had all the steps and all the paperwork that you need to submit that. And that is due to me by May 15th.
All right, we are going to spend a little bit of time talking about everyone's favorite topic, name and emblem usage. So we're going to start off with a video from Lexa Krause talking a little bit about branding.
Hey everyone, my name is Lexa Krause and I'm your 4-H Communications and Marketing Specialist. Did you know? The 4-H name and emblem is a federally registered mark and we, as a cooperative extension service, have the privilege of using it. When using our 4-H name and emblem, take a moment to review our quick reference guide. This guide highlights correct and incorrect ways to use our 4-H resources such as name, emblem, fonts, and approved colors for printing. It's our job to communicate the significance of the 4-H name and emblem as it is owned by our government and is protected by federal statute. You may have a 4-H member or volunteer who wants to use the clover emblem for something like a shirt or a flyer for a fundraiser. They can because they also have the privilege of using it. When they reach out to you, share the updated and approved 4-H emblem graphic. Then, stay involved in the planning process so you can provide support on proper usage as needed. When we use the 4-H name and emblem on resources or proudly wear a shirt displaying them, we quickly show our audience that we are a reliable resource for youth programming. Without saying a word, the 4-H emblem shares a trusted story. By using it properly, we respect this story. And now you know!
All right, so just like Lexa talked about a little bit in that video, there are just some guidelines around how to use the 4-H name and the emblem that aligns with branding and keeps everything consistent. So with the name, we just want to make sure that we use the 4 and the H separated with no spaces by the small hyphen. So below there, it shows the different steps or the different aspects that you need to conform to just for that branding. And then making sure when you're writing in text, not to use just the Clover logo in place of the word 4-H. And you can also see some examples on both pages for correct and incorrect. So for the emblem, we want to make sure it's the 4-leaf clover that we all know and love with the H's in each leaf. And we always want to make sure the stem is turned to the right. I think I finally have that memorized, to the right. And then we want to make sure that the small statement there, the 18 U.S.C. 707 statement, is also on the right there, that small text. So it can come in different colors. We have the green, the black, and that white. And then with transparent design, so you'll notice for the t-shirts this year, I think Marcy will talk a little bit more about the t-shirts, but you're able to see the color of the shirt through the Clover emblem, but it still aligns with the branding. It's sort of used as a transparent logo. And then you can see some examples for the incorrect usage. So just anything drastically changing that color, like making it red, or turning the stem to the left, or putting any sort of text or clip art over the logo and obscuring that. So when in doubt, you can check that branding guideline. I know the graphics might not have been great there, but if you go to the Iowa 4-H website, you'll be able to find that branding guideline, or you can email any of us and we can send it to you, and it has all the stuff in one place.
If you didn't know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we just wanted to let you know that we will hopefully be sharing some of the Iowa 4-H resources on our Facebook pages or our other social media channels, as well as helping you if you have questions as leaders for programming that we can do for your clubs. You can let us know, and we're happy to come and do any sort of presentation. But check out our social media channels this month for some Mental Health Awareness Month resources. One of the trainings that Iowa State University Extension offers is Mental Health First Aid and Youth Mental Health First Aid. These are both 6-hour courses that you can take, and it really walks you through different forms of mental health and how to help if youth or adults are in a crisis, where you can get those resources. And it goes into depth on some of the different struggles that those individuals may be facing. Again, that one is a 6-hour online certification course, but it's an in-person class. We are looking at hopefully having a Youth Mental Health First Aid this summer in person in our office. So stay tuned for details for that. But if you have a little bit of time to offer, there is also the QPR program, which is a 1-hour, and it's usually done as a lunch and learn program that is offered. So it's a 1-hour suicide prevention course. And this one is also geared towards adults who work with adults or adults who work with youth. And there is also a faith-based option as well. So that is a training that is offered pretty regular through Iowa State University Extension. And if you would like more information, I am happy to get that for you.
I don't remember who this was, so I'll go. State 4-H Conference, Animal Science Roundup, and Career Pathways. So this is an event that will happen in June 27th through the 29th at Iowa State University. The youth come together up for for these events. They all happen kind of together, but kind of separately. So if they sign up for one, they'll interact with others from the 2 others at different social events, essentially. But it's open for grades 8th through 12th. It's $225 if you are signed up before June 1st. There is financial assistance available, and there are opportunities for adults to chaperone as well. So both male and female chaperones are needed. And I do know that there are still some of the livestock species available. Those tend to do, some of the more popular ones will fill up quickly. My guess is that cattle, swine, and horse are probably already full, but there's probably room in the others.
All right. Our day camps this summer, the one we're talking about today, we're really excited about. It is the project-based day camp. So that is going to be June 16th, and it's a great opportunity to just explore all of the different cool project areas. And we are currently looking for adult or high school age volunteers to help with that, to help run some of those project areas. So if you're interested in that, absolutely reach out to us. We're also looking for project ideas. So especially if there's a project area you really love and you want to contribute, this would be a great opportunity. So the camp itself is for youth in that 4th grade through 8th grade. And then there'll also be a afternoon section for youth in K through 3. So lots of fun opportunities to learn more about those project areas. And again, that's going to be June 16th, and it'll be 9 to 4. And we'll have those 2 sections for the different ages. So let us know if you want to volunteer and come hang out. Also, I'm sure everyone has heard, but RAGBRAI is coming through. So RAGBRAI this summer is going to be July 22nd through the 29th. So if there are any clubs doing fundraisers or different events, let us know. We might have some assistance to help with any sort of fundraiser or event going on with that. So definitely reach out if you're planning to do something for RAGBRAI. And if you're not planning to do something, definitely have fun.
Next up, we're going to watch this lovely, slightly dated video about the county awards process. So please enjoy.
Did you
know
that we've revamped the 4-H County Annual Awards process?
We're here to tell you more about it today.
Let's go.
What project area did you learn the most in while you were in 4-H, and how are you applying that today?
So the project area that I learned the most in would have to be probably food and nutrition. It is a skill that I'm able to apply in many facets of my life, but I was also able to turn that into my first career before joining Extension. So I was able to help teach other youth how to cook as a family consumer science teacher.
With our goal for annual Polk County 4-H Awards being to showcase learning, all eligible 4-Hers are encouraged to apply for awards. They will then have the opportunity to interview with a judge to further explain their learning.
What do you consider to be the most valuable thing that you've learned through 4-H, and why do you feel that way?
I think the most valuable thing that I've learned by working through 4-H is that 4-H is for everyone. I grew up with the misconception that 4-H was just for people that lived on a farm with animals and that could participate in the county fair. But as I've worked here, I've really learned that 4-H doesn't have to be for just agriculture families. It can be for youth living in a city that want to learn more about arts and expression or gardening in pots. And so 4-H is really for everybody, and that's why I love it.
This year we will be celebrating 6 award categories. One of the largest award categories we will be celebrating is our Project Area Awards. There are 11 project areas available. Youth will be able to apply for up to 2 awards and be eligible to receive 1. Our next award is the Leadership and Civic Engagement Award. Just as the 4-H pledge says, 4-Hers commit to lending their hands to larger service. The Leadership and Civic Engagement Award will recognize only one junior, intermediate, and senior level 4-Her that exhibits a high level of experience with civic engagement and leadership. Next up is the New Alumni and the Outstanding Alumni Award. 4-Hers that graduated from high school the previous program year are eligible to submit an essay about their 4-H experience. All of the essay entries will be celebrated, and one will be awarded the new Outstanding Alumni. The next 2 awards are the Peer Award and the Caring Adult Award. With these awards, we encourage 4-Hers to nominate either a peer or a caring adult who has helped them in their 4-H experience. Lastly is record book awards. All 4-Hers are encouraged to complete and submit a record book to their 4-H leader. 4-H leaders will then score the record books, and those receiving 80 or above will be submitted to our office for further judging. We will be awarding 2 awards in each of the H categories. If you are participating in the 4-H Planner Pilot, you can submit that to be eligible for an award.
As a Polk County 4-H alum, you had many opportunities. Which provided you the greatest learning experience?
That's a good question. I do think that the opportunity that provided me the most learning was being a member of the Polk County Council when I was in high school. And through that, I was able to take on some leadership opportunities, meet new people. And then once I graduated 4-H, I actually became a volunteer with the Polk County Council, and that is kind of what led me to my job. So it really did help me out.
While exploring and sharing our learning is the most valuable part of annual county awards, we are really excited to celebrate you. All applicants and nominees will be invited to our celebratory dinner, following which we will have a ceremony to recognize all of the award winners. It is going to be full of the 3 4-HFs: fun, friends, and food.
We hope you are as excited about the changes to the annual county awards process as we are. We're looking forward to making it a lot of fun.
Check the description to find a link which holds more information about the awards and the applications. All applications are due October 1st.
If you have any questions, contact Madison, and we hope you join us next month for a new edition of Fun Facts with 4-H staff.
Like I said, slightly dated in the fact that you no longer contact Madison, you will contact me instead. But all of the information is relatively the same. It's the same deadlines and the same awards. So we're not going to update that video. But like we said, those award applications are due on October 1st at noon, and interviews will be on October 17th and 19th. Those are a Tuesday and a Thursday night. However, we can work with you if you have conflicts on those 2 nights. And we will be doing awards in project areas, leadership and civic engagement, the new alumni and outstanding alumni, the peer award, the caring adult award, record book, and Banner Club. Banner Club was not in that video, but Banner Club is essentially a way for our clubs to show that they do a lot of stuff. So there's a Banner Club rubric online, and you get points for certain things. So you get points for having club meetings, you get points for having officers installed, you get points for hosting events, things like that. And if you reach a certain amount of points, you get a button to put on your banner at the county fair. So if you have any questions about any of those, let me know. And the last one there is our county council applications, which will be due September 6th. That is the first Wednesday in September, which is when those are usually due.
I was trying to figure out why it wouldn't let me go full screen again. But so while probably the reason most of you are here is to learn a little bit more about county fair. At this point, please feel free to take and write questions in the chat or unmute and say, hey, stop for a second, got a question. Because we tend to speed through some of this stuff because we don't know what you don't know. So please ask us questions. So we're going to start off with the first one here, and fair dates and the theme. So dates this year are July 15th through the 21st. And the theme is let the good times grow. So hopefully this theme will be a little bit easier to decorate things for. And yeah, so we're excited for it. Next up is the Clover Kids Livestock Workshop. So this is an opportunity for our Clover Kids age members, so kindergarten through 3rd grade, to handle different animals and livestock species. This is year number 3 of doing this event, and it has been very popular for our young folks. So June 23rd at 5 p.m. at Prairie Rose Arena. It is a Friday this year. It's, like I said, youth kindergarten through 3rd grade. We'll be providing hot dogs for supper. And registration for the event will be required, and it'll be in the June Clover Power. But what this event is, it gives you an opportunity to handle. These are the species that have been there in the past. It'll all depend on what we are able to get there that day. I know that usually our 2 questionable ones are rabbit and poultry on whether or not we can get those species there, but everything else has been consistent the past 2 years. Next up is YQCA, so Youth for the Quality Care of Animals. Everyone's certification will expire before fair. It's only a 1-year certification, and this is needed for anyone who's exhibiting the following livestock species: so cattle, swine, sheep, goats, rabbits, and poultry. So essentially any animal that could become a part of the food system or supply food to the food system. So like dairy, goats, milk, all that kind of fun stuff. So your options at this point are the online class. It is $12 per youth. And you need to make sure that you have an account in the YQCA program. It used to be linked to your 4-H online account. That is no longer the case. So if you're new to showing livestock, you will need to create an account through YQCA. It is a series of videos that they watch, and then there's quizzes to test their knowledge. So there are 3 quizzes you need to pass with an 80% or above. If you do not pass a quiz, you're locked out for about an hour, and then you are able to retake that test. They do get tricky. I'm a trained trained facilitator, that's the word I wanted. And in helping my niece with her, sitting next to her while she was taking her quizzes, she asked me a question, I got the answer wrong. And sometimes that's just in the way that they word the question. So yes, they are tricky little quizzes.
Another deadline that is quickly approaching is the July 1st deadline, which is when county fair and state fair entries are due. And these are all due online. So if you did not know, July 1st is on a Saturday this year. So our office is closed. So we will not be in the office to answer questions about county and state fair entries on July 1st. So we really do encourage you to get those in before Saturday, so that if you have questions or are needing assistance, we are able to help you. With that, our fair books are available online only. The changes you'll notice will be highlighted in yellow. And those are the 2 links for the fair book. So the state fair fair book is on the extension website, and then the Polk County Fair fair book is on polkcountyfairiowa.com. If you are interested in a printed copy, they are quite a few pages, 78, I believe, in total. So we can print that for you here in the office, but it does cost $1 just to help offset the cost of printing. I'll tell you, that's still a bargain because I think it costs more than $1 to print each book. So if you're interested in a printed copy, let us know. You can come in the office and pick one up for just $1.
As I need to remember to unmute myself. Next up is some changes that we would just like to highlight that are in the fair book. Anything that was fixed or changed, we tend to highlight in yellow. So these are just kind of some highlights that I pulled out and are in here that I would like to cover with you all. So the first one I have for you is this year exhibitors must wear a white or gray Polk County 4-H t-shirt, 4-H t-shirt or FFA t-shirt. And I think I said my wording right or wrong, but my words here are correct. Long jeans, closed-toed shoes must be worn by exhibitors in the show ring. No hats, shorts, or ripped jeans of any kind allowed. Exception would be the horse department, which has additional rules on what you can wear for showing there. So if you picked up on that, our shirts have always been white that have been required. This year, they are allowing gray shirts, and our Polk County Fair t-shirts that the youth will be receiving will be gray in color. So sheep and goats will arrive at weigh-in on Saturday and must go through vet check in Rock Island, which is the parking lot just north of the Iowa State Fairgrounds, and then come across it into the fairgrounds between the sheep and swine barns. Next up is swine will arrive and weigh in on Sunday, and they must also do the vet check in the Rock Island parking lot. Oops. Did I go too quickly? There was some clarification and statements put in there about purebred registration papers, mostly, or I guess for all livestock that requires those papers. They must be submitted to the superintendent at the fair to be eligible to show in those classes. Registration papers need to be in the exhibitor's name, the farm name, or immediate family member's name. Immediate family member includes spouse, child, sibling, parent, or legal guardian. Next up is sheep. The registration papers, that rule was added to that department. The next up is the member ewe lamb class, a division of the ewe class, must be produced from an animal owned by a member or immediate family member. And it may only show one animal in this class. To be eligible for this class, you must have all information filled out correctly on the affidavit of Polk County or member produced sheet form and turned in no later than the date communicated on the form. No exceptions will be made. So if someone weighed in sheep this weekend and they're declaring it as a Polk County produced animal or a member produced animal, they received a form, and those forms are due to us by May 15th. Entries in the lamb class must be born on or after January 1st of 2023. Yearlings shall be born on or after January 1 of 2022 through December 1st of 2020 or December 31st of 2022. Numbers of what you can show have changed. So the numbers and the wording of how many animals you can show in each class have changed a little bit on there as well. Maybe I can switch to the next one. Next up, all cattle must have an official ID. In the fair book, it spells out what that is. And essentially it's anything with a USDA or an EID 840 button tag. So in the past, we have had to do special days where I would drive around and tag some of the spring calves. That's no longer the case. If you have access to those tags, you can do it yourself. Otherwise, if you need to use one of ours, it will have to be a visit from me. The cattle show will take place in the Jacobson Arena on Wednesday, and they will have one show again this year. All lead cattle must have neckties when they are in their stalling area. Commercial breeding animals will be weighed at the fair, and the classes will be broken up by weight. Breed classes, all of the ages will be shown together, and no more than 6, if there are no more than 6 had entered classes, if they're, wow, I still didn't say it right. If there are more than 6 had entered in a certain breed, the classes will be split up. Meat goats, all meat goats must have been weighed in at, or market meat goats, must have been added to the Polk County weigh-in. They must have attended there to be eligible for county fair. Next up, swine. The weigh-in weight at the county fair will be used as the sale weight. Weight limits will be determined by the auction committee. Only market gilts and barrows weighing less than 2,000 or 230, I can't read tonight apparently, 230 pounds will be eligible to compete for the market champion, grand champion market hog. Okay, so anything weighing below 230 is not eligible. All right, let's see if I can get off livestock and I can spell things out better in static exhibits.
Hey, real quick before you leave the livestock land, there's a question in the chat, Marcy. Will tagging bottle calves at the Clover Kid workshop be an option?
It can be if it's communicated with me ahead of time that I need to have tags there.
Great, thank you.
So Nikki, if you're, I'm assuming this is Nikki Smith.
Yes, this is from Nikki.
Okay, yeah, if you bring them and those are the calves that we're using, I will definitely put tags in them for you there. Static exhibits, just some wording changes there. So entomology wording has changed. The max thickness of a photograph has changed. So before you could essentially mount it on anything, but now there is a required thickness of how thick it can be, and it can only be 1/4 of an inch thick. Additional explanations were added in the creative photography and the photography idea classes. Wording of the child development changed a little bit. The thrifty meal challenge, so this used to be called the $10 meal challenge. They have now switched that, and so the pricing and the rules have changed just a little bit, just to follow the times of our economy and the fact that all of our prices are going up on everything. Next up, for clothing event, the $20 clothing challenge, this used to be called the $15 challenge. It's now $20 that you have to spend at a thrift store or garage sale to find those secondhand clothes. And then the other one is the innovative design class. And with this class, this would be your cosplay outfits, your theatrical outfits, different construction materials like duct tape and different non-conventional sewing techniques. Last 2 changes I have for us is the Clover Kids working exhibit. So this was added this year as a class, and with this, those Clover Kids are going to be able to do working exhibits just as their 4-H counterparts. Last but not least, our Fair Queen introduced this one to us this year. So there will be a junior prince and princess contest, and it's open for youth grade 7th through the age of 15. And in this contest, essentially, they will have the opportunity to interview, and a panel of judges will take and pick one prince and one princess. Essentially, at the state contest, or at the Iowa State Fair, they're told that they should figure out something that they want to bring back to their county. And this is one thing that she decided she would like to see implemented in our county. So we are excited to see, or the committee I know is excited to see how this goes.
So one thing, if you didn't know, we have an open class for adults and youth in the 4-H building. Those are a $4 fee per entry, and there is no pre-entry required. So you just turn in those projects and your $4 fee between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. on Saturday, July 15th in the open class judging area. And then projects will be judged and on display until 4 p.m. on Thursday, and will need to be picked up by 5 p.m. There are 5 divisions, so it's broken out into horticulture, photography, fine arts, textiles, and foods. And I know Marcy and I would appreciate a little bit more competition in the open class department. So if you're crafty, if you like to do woodworking or welding or anything like that, or bake, please consider entering something in open class. This is also an option if there are youth, maybe their older sibling is in 4-H and is doing static projects, but they're not old enough for Clover Kids yet. They can enter something into the open class division. They will not get to have an interview with the judge, but they'll still be able to get a ribbon and have their projects displayed. So if you have some of those younger siblings, it's still a great opportunity for them to participate in county fair. And speaking of county fair entries, all of our entries are handled electronically at polkcountyfairiowa.com or Polk County Fair Iowa. Let me try that again. polkcountyfair.fairentry.com. There it is. I'm so used to saying polkcountyfairiowa.com that I cannot. Essentially, those will open on May 23rd. 4-H and Clover Kids must log in with their 4-H online information. If you're a new FFA exhibitor, you'll need to create a login. And then if youth are showing both 4-H and FFA, they're going to log in each of those 2 separate ways, and they're going to have 2 separate entries, one for 4-H and one for FFA. There are help sheets that are available on the homepage of the webpage. Entries can be paid via cash, check, or credit card online. Cash and check payments must be received at the Polk County Extension Office by July 1st at 5 p.m. Late entries can be made 2 days after July 1st, but it must be done in person here at the Extension Office, and credit card payments cannot be accepted. There is also a $50 late fee per day per youth for that. And another fun fact for you, thanks to the Polk County Fair Board, they have decreased the fee for fair entries this year. So this year, previously, it was $3 for building exhibits. This year, it will be $1 for each building exhibit that you enter. This includes the communication event. And then it is $2 for any livestock. And I believe that was $4 in the past. So the Fair Board has taken and decreased those enrollment fees to try and help our families. And entry tags. So entry tags are going to be printed by the Extension Office. They'll be mailed out to exhibitors after July 1st. And we ask that you please use a detailed or as detailed of a description as you can with your entry tags. So if you're entering a photograph, don't just say it's a picture of a flower. Say that it's a black matted 8x10 photo of a purple rose with a yellow building in the background. And this is really to help us. There's a lot of projects that go through the building. There's a lot of projects that get judged on judging day. And if we somehow get a tag that gets separated from a project, we want to be able to find where that project needs to go and whose project it was. So if we can look up descriptions, we can figure out whose project is maybe missing. And it also helps us with our projects that are going on to State Fair. We're also able to make changes to those tags for you if you let us know in advance, and we'll have those for you on judging day. If not, you can also get new tags printed, or if you accidentally misplace one, because it happens, we can get new tags printed for you on judging day. We'll have a table dedicated to that. For fair shirts, so fair shirts this year, they are sponsored by DZ. Shirts can be picked up a couple different places. They can be picked up at booth setup. They can be picked up on judging day, and then they can be picked up at livestock check-ins. It is first come, first serve on sizes for shirts because we do have to pre-order those. And they will be gray shirts this year, but those old white shirts are still able to be used in the show rings and whatnot.
All right, so next up, the process for exhibit building judging day. So for this, you will enter through the west doors of the 4-H building at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. And this is the door that faces the big parking lot there. So you will come in and there'll be a check-in desk and you will check in there and you will receive a form that tells your youth what projects they all entered. There'll be their name, there'll be a spot for the judge to circle what ribbon color. There's a barcode on there and you will essentially take that around to all of your departments that you want to be judged in. So when you get there, after you get your form, you will take and you will go to each of the judging areas and there will be a table with some superintendents sitting there and you will check in and put your name on the sign-in sheet. So what those superintendents will do is they will, when there is a judge open for judging, they will start at the top of their list. They'll call a name. If that person's there, they will take and put them with that judge. You'll sit there, get judged, and that is how that works. What we recommend is that you go and put your name on all the lists for all the departments that you are going to be judged in, and then pick the one with the shortest line, stay there, because each of those other departments, if they skip your name, it's perfectly fine because they will go back to the top, reread the numbers or names that they've missed, and those people who haven't been judged yet, and they'll go back to those. It also helps that if you go back to a different department after being judged in one, check back in with them and see, just say, hey, I'm back. And if they've already skipped you, they'll hop to you next. But after you get judged in all your departments, you want to take that entry form after the judge has circled what color ribbon you get on it and that kind of stuff. And you are going to turn that paper back into our checkout table. So this helps us with multiple things. It tells us how many exhibits actually came to our judging day. It also tells us what color ribbons were given. And the ribbon color is how premiums are awarded to your youth. I'll explain that a little bit later. I have another slide for that. Next up is the Clover Kids judging area. So they don't have multiple judging areas by those individual project areas, but the process is essentially the same. So you're going to come in those west doors, stop and get your paper entry form, and then go to the judging area and check in with the superintendent. You'll get judged, and then we ask that you turn back in that paper. Once again, that helps us keep track of how many youth actually went through judging, so we are able to have an accurate count.
So we do have a few special events for the Polk County Fair. The first one being the clothing event, and judging for that actually happens before the Polk County Fair at the extension office. And that is for the 4 clothing event categories, which is the $20 challenge, fashion review, clothing selection, and then the new innovative design class. And then we also have the communication event, and judging for this for both 4-Hers and Clover Kids happens on July 18th. And a detailed schedule will be sent out for both of these before the event for you. But the communication event covers working exhibits and educational presentations, and then share the fun, extemporaneous speaking, and the communication posters. The communication posters are actually due to us on judging day, so on Saturday, but they will not be judged until July 18th. And if you need more information on any of those, let us know. But we're excited to have those events this year. And then exhibit release. So exhibits must remain in the 4-H exhibit building until 4 p.m. and then must be picked up by 5 p.m. on Thursday. Leaders are responsible for helping clean up club booths and ensuring youth exhibits are picked up. I know Marcy, Virginia, and myself do not have enough room in our cars to get a bunch of exhibits back to the office that don't get picked up. So we really do ask for your help in making sure that those are picked up and taken care of by 5 p.m. on Thursday. And then livestock are released at 5 p.m. on Thursday, unless posted otherwise for open class. So we ask that you come get your stuff out of the 4-H building and then go and get your livestock.
All right, so we get the question a lot of what can our Clover kids do at the county fair? So this is just kind of a list of what our Clover kids in youth open class, what are available for them. So Clover kids, once again, is our youth who are kindergarten through 3rd grade, and they must be enrolled to compete or participate in those activities. The other thing that we have is our youth open class. So this is actually open to youth who are 4 years old through 3rd grade. So it does include some younger youth, and they have some opportunities to do some things at the fair, and essentially they're non-competitive events that they have an opportunity to participate in. So as I go through these, I'll kind of tell you which one would be for Clover kids, which one would be youth open class. So we'll start with Friday. This would be booth setup. This is for our Clover kids, and then building judging for our Clover kids as well. One thing that isn't listed on here, but would be for it'd be the youth who maybe they're not enrolled in 4-H, but they still like to do those projects along with somebody. They can compete in the open class that Megan mentioned earlier. So there is a building open class. You just don't have the opportunity to sit and talk to a judge when you compete in that. Then there's the cat show, and the cat show is our youth open class. So that 4 years old through 3rd grade. Clover Dash 5K, open to anybody who would like to participate. The barbecue, once again, open to anybody. Clover Kids graduation. So Clover Kids graduation, we will take and recognize our youth who are 3rd grade, who are graduating out of our Clover Kids program and entering 4th grade. And then there's the youth open class poultry show. So that's that 4 years old through 3rd grade. Decorate a bale contest. This is open to any youth who would like to compete in it. And then we have our sheep, our pet, our goat costume, and our horse show. These would all be the youth open class events happening that day. Next up is our pancake breakfast, open to anybody, because who doesn't love pancakes, right? Then there's the educational presentation and working exhibits. So those are for our enrolled youth in Clover Kids. And then rabbit and calvie show, swine show, and the meat goat show. Those are the youth open class, so 4 years old through 3rd grade. Wednesday would be the dairy goat and the bucket bottle calf, 4 years old through 3rd grade for those. Tractor or the pedal tractor pull, that one is open to anybody, do not need to be enrolled. I don't remember the youngest age, but I know that the oldest age is 12 years old to compete in that. So that's open to even some of our 4-Hers. The last two would be for our Clover Kids age or Clover Kids youth, picking up their projects and their booth takedown. Is the pet show for 4-H kids. There is a 4-H division of the pet show as well. So they happen at the same time, essentially. I think they do Clover Kids usually first, and then the 4-H, or not the Clover Kids, the youth open class. I believe they do first, and then the others. So, but the biggest thing is if you have a 4-H'er who would like to compete in the pet show, there are livestock IDs or animal IDs that need to be due by May 15th for those. There is a category in 4-H online that says pets. That is where that would go. Club duties is the next one. Virginia, were you talking about this one?
Yes, ma'am. All right. So all of the 4-H clubs have been assigned a duty at the county fair. Last year, it was just my first fair last year, but last year the youth were really great about all of their different club duties and getting that taken care of. We'll work on getting the screen reshared there in a hot sec, but if you do need to, if you can't make this duty that you're scheduled for or need to reschedule, it is your responsibility to find another club to switch with. And if you do switch duties with a club, just make sure to let Marcy know so we can have that taken care of. So look forward to duties. It looks like we have our club duty schedule here, and that'll be coming out for y'all. So again, they've all been assigned, and if you need to switch, find someone to switch with and let Marcy know. Right, and I think that's in the chat too. Yes, it is. Awesome. All right, and then of course, along with duties for clubs, we have the fair booths. So set up for these, and of course decoration, that is going to be July 14th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. That's a Friday evening. Yes, that's a Friday evening. So that is going to be when you get it set up, bring your bring your decorations. Since the theme this year is Let the Good Times Grow, hopefully that'll be a great one to decorate and run with. So those booths will be judged July 15th, the next day at 12 p.m. So if you see on the screen now, that is the map of all the different booths and where the clubs have been assigned. You can also find that PDF in the chat. And then you can see here where you're at, and those are the areas that you will be decorating. If you need help getting getting to your booth in the building, I know sometimes the map might look a little discombobulating, and they also sometimes will change stuff on us. So if you do need help getting to the booth that you are in, definitely let us know when you get there. And also with this map, once you can kind of locate the stage, you'll be good to go. Right.
With included in the PDF that I put in the chat box is page 2 of this, and it just kind of tells you what the club is, like where it's maybe located in the building, and then what should be there for numbers of walls and number of bases. So the walls are, and if I scroll down here to the very bottom of this page, the walls are supposed to be 4 foot wide by 8 foot tall, and the bases should be 4 foot by 4 foot. So like I said, this is if they give us things where they're supposed to be. This is what should look like. Okay, now I'll try to get back to the PowerPoint. Give me just a second.
Oh, you're good. And then when those, oh, perfect. When those booths are judged, they'll just be judged kind of on that neatness, creativity, and the originality and the fair theme. So definitely start thinking of your ideas.
So during the county fair, our county council has a couple different events and things that they sponsor. If you're not familiar with the county council, it is a group of 30 9th through 12th grade youth who meet once a month all year to plan these events. So the first thing that they do is they sponsor the booth decorating contest that Virginia mentioned. They sponsor the prizes awarded for that. Then they have the Anything Goes contest, which is going to happen on Saturday night. That is kind of like a Barnyard Olympic style. Clubs compete against each other and it ends in a tug of war. Great time. It is a $1 entry fee per club, not per person, and first through third place are awarded prize money and a ribbon. For this, though, you must be an enrolled member of a Polk County 4-H club or FFA chapter. This is not open to Clover kids or non-4-H or FFA members, just due to risk management and liability and insurance and all that fun stuff. Next up is the Decorate a Bale contest. So that does not require a theme. You can decorate a square bale in any way you would like. So it could follow the fair theme or it could be anything. But those must be in the barn by Monday at 9:30 a.m. and judging will take place at 10 a.m. There is again a $1 entry fee and first through third place prizes are awarded money and ribbon. And it will need an exhibit tag, but we'll have those there for you. With Decorate a Bale, this could be a club. It could be a individual person. It could be a group of a few kids. Anything kind of goes for that, but we do ask that there be at least one person present for each bale that is being judged to speak with the judge. Next up, back after a few year hiatus, is a teen dance. That will be on Monday night from 7 to 10 p.m. in the FFA exhibits building, which is not one of our usual buildings. It is just north of the Jacobson Arena, and that will be open to any youth who is 13 years old through their senior year of high school. So just graduated seniors are able to come to this dance. I do know Emma Liss is looking for some chaperones. So there, if there are any adults out there who would like to chaperone the teen dance and hang out with us, we welcome you. It should be a good time. I know that Emma and her committee have been putting a lot of work into bringing this back this year. After that, they will host the pancake breakfast, which is on Tuesday morning. They'll serve from about 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. or until they run out of food. But they'll start cooking around 5:30 or 6. So it'll be an early morning for those kids. It is a free will donation, but there is a suggested donation of $3 per plate. And they will be serving pancake, or not per plate, per person. You can have multiple plates of food. And they will be serving pancakes, sausage, milk, orange juice, and coffee. Then they will also have movie night, which is on Wednesday night. This year they are showing the Lorax. They're going with the theme of letting the good times grow. And the movie night is also something that is open to youth who are 13 years old through 12th grade through just graduating high school. And thanks to a donation from the American Legion, that is a free event, which is nice. And then they will be hosting 2 fundraisers. So they'll be hosting the Kiss the Pig fundraiser. So if you want to see one of the 4 people have to kiss a pig, go ahead and throw some pocket change into their jar. And then they will be hosting silent auction baskets as well. So if you have anything that you would like to donate to the county council for the silent auction baskets, they will be looking for donations for that here in the Clover Power, probably in the June Clover Power is when we'll have that in there. Not required, but if you have items, you are welcome to donate items or baskets to the county council. And then the Clover Dash 5K. So the Clover Dash 5K will be on July 16th. And the run will start at 8:30 a.m. We are looking for runners, volunteers, and sponsors, and registration is live. I just put that link into the chat if you're interested. That is open for runners and walkers, and volunteers and sponsors all can go to that same website and sign up or donate. And we are going to invite youth who are doing working exhibits to do a practice round during the 5K. And with that, they can receive up to $50 worth of their supplies being reimbursed to them through funding from the 5K. And this is something that we did for the first time last year. And we did have one working exhibit group take advantage of it and do their working exhibit. And they got a lot of good feedback in doing that and were able to make a few changes to their working exhibit from Sunday to Tuesday. And with the changes that they made, they actually were selected to be a state fair working exhibit. So it's a great opportunity for those youth who would like a little bit of practice to do so at no cost to them. And then just so you're all aware, the money that is raised from the 5K is used in 3 different ways. So the first is the Joy Nicholson Memorial Grant, and that is a grant for any 4-H'er to apply for funds for any 4-H related expenses they may have. So this, for example, could be a youth who wants to do a working exhibit and doesn't have the funds for purchasing materials. It could be for a youth who maybe wants to do the Thrifty Meal Challenge, but doesn't have the funds for that. It could be for youth who want to go to state conference or animal science roundup and don't have the funding. So anything that is a 4-H related expense could be applied for these funds, and they can be applied for at any time. It's reviewed on a monthly basis by the 5K committee on the county council, but the identifying information is removed. So the youth on the county council do not know who is applying for the funds. And then we also do give away college scholarships to those graduated seniors. And we have the Rebecca Ostis Club Grant. So that is for 4-H clubs or Clover Kids groups to apply for funding for community service projects they may have. So some examples have been clubs who want to make a meal at the Ronald McDonald House. They can apply for funding to purchase the ingredients to cook the food. We've had clubs use it to purchase material to make fleece blankets to donate, as well as clubs for materials for flower baskets for their towns. So any sort of community service related project can be applied for funding there. And that one can again be applied for on a monthly basis. It will be reviewed at the county council meetings.
Oh, excuse me. All right. This is fair forms, and I think Marcy or Megan, one of you are taking fair forms.
That was me. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Fair forms are available online at polkcountyfairiowa.com. And this is where you will be able to find any of those forms needed for the fair. So the King and Queen applications, as well as the Prince and Princess applications. There's the clothing event reporting form, as well as sample copyright letters, the photography label, both in PDF and Word format, and the livestock affidavits. There are also a few other things on there, such as the inappropriate food exhibits, preparing vegetables for exhibit, and links to project hot sheets and tip sheets. So odds are if you need some sort of form for the Polk County Fair, you can find it on the website under forms.
All right. So next up here would be thank yous and actions. So we encourage everybody, I was gonna say the Polk County Fair Board and volunteers spend a lot of time and energy finding sponsors for everything that youth receive at fair. Whether it be donations for the money that they give out to kids for premiums and that kind of stuff, because Premiums are usually double, if not triple, sometimes what entry fees are in the past couple of years. So we encourage you to write thank yous to those sponsors. We do have an appreciation station that we set up at the county fair. We supply you with thank yous. We give you a list of people. If you tell us who it's going to, like put a note on it or something that we know who it goes to, we'll even mail them out for you. So taking some of that work out of it for families. Great thing to do while you're on building watch is to write some thank yous. So for trophies, prize money, all of that kind of fun stuff. So please encourage your youth to write thank yous to those different organizations. Auction buyers. So if you have youth who are going through the livestock auction, please encourage them to thank their buyer the day of, as well as writing a thank you after. Those can go a long way. In recent years, so as we're talking about the livestock auction, the number of buyers that show up at our livestock auction is dwindling. So if you know of youth who are participating in that, we encourage you to reach out to those different companies and things that you purchase your items for your livestock support through. Usually I know that buyers will take a lot more notice if the youth are asking them to attend versus us sending out a letter. We will have those letters and cards available for families if they want to go and approach somebody that has the details in them. So just let us know and we can get that information for you. Megan, can you do thank you or this one for me? I'm responding to a chat question.
Sure thing. So premium awards. So for livestock, those premium awards are based on ribbon counts that the superintendents track. And for building exhibits, our premiums are tracked with that sheet that the youth must turn in before they leave. And then checks will be written out to each youth and either given to the leader or mailed. And those checks must be cashed within 90 days and will not be reissued. That is a fair board rule and a bank rule for them. So this is why, like Marcy mentioned, it's super important when you're leaving on static day that you turn that sheet back into the checkout table. Otherwise, we have no way of knowing what your premiums are. So if you don't turn in that sheet for static, then you do not receive your premiums. Okay, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, I can be back.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read this last question. So it was like, is there pest or poultry testing dates yet? Those have not been set yet. As soon as we get those out, we'll share an email with everyone who indicated poultry in 4-H online, and something will probably be posted by the June newsletter. I hope to have those dates set and all of that kind of thing. As for if you are looking at some of your club booths, and you don't quite understand maybe or can't vision where you're going to be, you can, if you have a large area, it's up to you on what areas you decorate. So if there's maybe 2 sides and you're like, oh, that's a lot to decorate, it's okay if you just do one side of the area of the booth that you may have. Some of them may be larger than what you think your club needs, so plan accordingly for what works best for your club. Okay. Is there any other question? I think I can stop sharing now, right? We thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for helping us make this video for those who weren't able to attend one of our sessions, and we hope you found some good information. If a question comes up after you get off here tonight, please send us an email. Right now I do know that we're kind of busy with some other events, so give us a little bit of grace on responding to those messages, but we will get back to you. So with that, thank you for coming. And if you do have some other questions, I'm going to stop recording here in just a second, but go ahead and you can unmute and ask those or type them in the chat and we can get them answered there too.